Okay then, Guardians, what is going on? Cloud Plays here and welcome back to another Destiny 2 video here on the channel. Today, Arc 3.0 is among us. We have finally got the information via the Destiny 2 Twitter page, pinging up this beautiful website right here. Oh, bring the thunder inside of Arc 3.0. Now, they do go into a lot of detail with this, and it is absolutely ginormous. As you can see, it goes and goes and goes and goes. So I am going to be getting you guys the most defined parts of this article, and you guys can go and check out the full thing if you so wish, just because there is a little bit of a nice background story behind this one, and essentially the long and cut of it is going to be what this video is. So if you haven't already, smash the beautiful blue thumbs up and subscribe, post notifications turned on. With that being said, let's get into the bloody thunder that is Arc 3.0. Now, starting off, the Destiny designer Sam Dunn actually states that Arc is really just go fast and hit stuff, and it's definitely going to be that by the looks of what we've got coming in this. Now, this was when he was asked about the core fantasy, that the power behind Arc 3.0 revamp. They call it the Hold W subclass, and they're not wrong whatsoever, let's be real. Now, every build is revolved around moving forward and enabling progress and aggression around those abilities. The powering that high-speed, high-impact goal, one of the prime inspirations of Arc 3.0, was the 2009 action movie Crank 2 High Voltage. For the record, very good movie. If you have not watched it already, definitely recommend it. The madcap action flick stars Jason Statham, an ex-hitman who has his heart stolen and replaced with a battery. You can imagine how good the film is. You're definitely going to want to watch it tonight, especially after hearing a load about all of this stuff. Now, lighting up new abilities. Before they dive into the class-specific Arc abilities, they want to talk about the buffs, debuffs that are the key parts around the Arc 3.0 experience. First up is the new buff, Amplified, which is the key to Arc 3.0 experience. An Amplified Guardian is faster, both in terms of movement speed and in terms of their weapon handling, and more agile. Able to perform long slides that can function as a devastating setup for some of the attacks that follow. Unlike other damage type buffs, Void's invincibility and Solar's Radiant, players don't need to equip any specific aspects or fragments to become amplified. By default, all Arc classes become amplified after rapidly defeating enemy targets with any Arc damage, and equipped aspects and fragments offer additional ways to become or benefit from being amplified. It sounds immense. As far as PvE goes, it's going to be amazing, but I cannot stress enough, this definitely sounds like a massive movement towards PvP. Now, after sprinting for just a few seconds, an Amplified Guardian will gain another boost in speed. As designer Mike Humboldt put it, basically as fast as we can make our sprint animation go, gaining a sizable PvE damage resistance buff and enabling a even longer slide ability. Now, imagine full-on Metroid speed booster mode. Only Samus is now wielding Galahorn. Even if the player is no longer amplified, as long as they keep sprinting and speed the speed booster buff will stay active. Now, this next bit is in development. The speed booster probably took the longest for me to get on board with, that you were already moving faster to begin with. When asked about the process of developing and refining verbs of 3.0, adding PvE damage resistance to Speed Booster to cement it as a strong gap closing tool and seeing it be able to move from one cover to the next in playtesting really brought it all together for me. You start sprinting and then you hear this audio swell start to come up, and then you're just like a jet engine rocketing around the arena. It's awesome. This for me is absolutely huge. I do love fast-paced movement, and this is going to be something which, for me, I feel like is going to be a massive Hunter progressive. For the Hunter, this is going to be amazing. For them all, it's going to be amazing. But for the Hunter, there's just something screaming at me saying this is going to be amazing. Now, when they talk about the debuff side of thing, Arc 3.0 is bringing two of the partly blind and jolt. Blinded opponents in PvE won't be able to see, naturally, and will be disorientated and unable to fire their weapons. In PvP though, blinded opponents will have their screen whited out and their HUD removed for a short period of time, alongside a distorted, washed out audio effect. Jolted opponents who are damaged will periodically send silvers of chain lightning out to nearby enemies, damaging them in the process. This does not sound too nice. That sounds like it's going to be absolutely horrible inside of the PvE scene. That's no lie, is going to get annoying. Now, Arc 3.0 also democratizes ionic traces. That is a very, very long sentence to put out, but which will previously available only in the middle tree warlocks, now available to all. Traces are objects that, when collected, will add energy for all your abilities. And now that you are familiar with the basics, let's jump into the classes themselves, and this is the bit that I'm excited about. This is a very, very detailed rendition of this, so we're going to try and break this down as much as we can. Hunter dashing forward, cracking with the power of arc lightning, is a sight that is sure to strike fear inside of the hearts of any. As the previous subclass revamps, the team had definite images in mind when considering what the new arc should feel like in combat. For the Hunter, the team imagined a graceful warrior monk, giving the Hunter the ability to get close quarters quickly and effectively make a mess of their opponents in the process. This is going to sound absolutely mental. This is just going to be disgusting. Long story short, the Arc Staff Super is returning. With the Arc Staff, hunters will be able to block and deflect projectiles with the press of a button, as well as being able to perform an armored dodge where, upon dodging, the hunter is more resistant to incoming damage. That was always a very, very cool factor, I can't lie. But one super just doesn't seem to be enough to the team, thus the introduction of a brand new Arc-themed super, the Gathering Storm. Here the hunter leaps into the air, hurling their staff into the ground or into a lucky and unlucky enemy like a spear. Upon impact, the staff emits a damaging burst that jolts nearby enemies. Soon after, a giant bolt of lightning strikes and the staff overcharges it, creating a large damage zone around it for several seconds. While overcharged, the staff sends out arcs of lightning. This is disgusting. This is mental. This is, what did I tell you? The hunters were going to be broken. Oh my god. On the melee side, the team kept the Hunter's combination blow ability, feeling like it was in the right lineup with the graceful warrior fantasy that they were going for. Pretty damn good, that's pretty cool. They've increased the melee damage and restore a small amount of health, allowing skilled hunters to chain their dodges and melee attacks into ballistic bursts of beautiful fury. In addition, the disorienting blow melee returns, blinding opponents with a devastating palm attack, while also now amplifying the hunter along the way. Mental, absolutely mental. This is gonna be full of blinds. You're not gonna be able to see throughout PvP whatsoever. The builds inside of these are gonna be cracked out of their box. Now, the hunters will be able to pick from 3 aspects. Defeating a jolted opponent causes you to be amplified. When amplified, the hunter's dodge will recharge faster and make you more resistant to damage. You have quicker reload times, and that one's called Flow State. Tempest Strike allows hunters to perform a sliding melee that launches an arc wave along the ground, dealing significant damage and jolting enemies in the path. Tempest Strike is going to be the one that a lot of people are using, mark my words. Lethal Current is after dodging, the hunter's melee lunge range is increased and their melee attack jolts at the target and creates a damaging lightning aftershock. When used with the Arc Staff Super, after dodging, the hunter's next staff light attack hits twice. In addition, hitting a jolted enemy with a melee attack will blind them. There is so much blinding going on here, it's mental. And I am reading this correctly, Blink is there as well. Wow. Finally, and a particular note, Arc 3.0 will also bring back the Blink movement to the Arc Hunters. In fact, the Blink ability will also include a baseline buff for any class that has access to it. We're looking at you, Void Warlocks. Okay, don't know where to go with that. We're going to dive into the Warlocks next. 2 supers will be available for the Warlock: Chaos Reach, where players will be able to shoot a consecrated beam of arc energy out of their hand to decimate opponents, and Storm Trance, which is more akin to the image of Palpatine floating around the world, firing electricity from their fingers. Nice. Oh my god, this is going to be so cool. I can't wait. I can't even get through the patch notes for this. Warlocks will have 2 melee abilities, both utilizing the power of lightning. The Ball Lightning melee will send out a floating ball of arc energy that detonates, zapping enemies down from above, and the Chain Lightning will send out arcs of lightning to strike and jolt the primary target and chain damage to surrounding enemies in the process. For me, Chain Lightning is going to be the way forward in my personal opinion. The Warlock's whole thing is that being amplified modifies their abilities. It powers them up. For Ball Lightning, if you're amplified, the arc ball will fly out and zap enemies 3 times instead of just a normal once. so you can cause more damage out of it. For Chain Lightning, it chains to more targets. More specifically, while normal Chain Lightning creates a single set of chains that bounce between the set of number of targets, when amplified, the ability creates 2 sets of chains. Oh my goodness gracious. The 3 aspects for the Warlock are Arc Soul, Lightning Surge, and Electrostatic Mind, which is a very cool name, I may add. The Warlock casts a rift to create an Arc Soul that will assist the player in battle. Allies who pass through the rift will also earn an Arc Soul. Oh, that's cool. I quite like this. The rift charges faster when the allies are near. When amplified, any Arc Soul you have or gain is supercharged, increased its fire rate. This is going to become so fast. So fast. The Warlock activates their melee while sliding to transform into a ball of lightning and teleport forward, calling down a field of lightning bolts at the exit point that jolts targets, and that one's Lightning Surge. And then we've got Electrotransmatic Mind, and I just really like saying it because it's challenging. Arc abilities: it kills on arc debuffed enemies, create ionic traces. When you collect any ionic trace, you become amplified. There's got to be like a root cause for that though, because if you collect 1, that's it, done. What happens if you collect 4, 5? And then, last but by no means least, we've got the Titans. Now, Titans have got quite a dramatic past with the Arc abilities. As we all know, there's nothing more annoying than an Arc Titan's shoulder. If you know, you know. Now what it says here is the desire to punch all things manifested in a couple of devastating supers that are the returning of Arc 3.0, Fist of Havoc and Thunder Crash. Nice. Great. Can't wait for this. While the latter is particularly unchanged from before, the Fist of Havoc now has an adjusted slam radius that's halfway between top and bottom path. The ground slam leaves a damaging field in its wake, while slamming down from the air causes damaging AoE effect from previous top tree behavior. Obviously, for me, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like the Titan was always going to get the least amount of activity inside of this, mainly because it's already pretty freaking OP within its Arc subclass. In the case of Thunderclash and other abilities, uncoupling a subclass abilities from the old subclass Diamond system will result in some substantial buffs depending on how the player uses it. It's one of the intrinsic advantages that the new subclass 3.0 system brings to Destiny when you start pairing them with different things. Even though nothing changed about this actual ability, they can end up getting significantly stronger with the result of it. One of the biggest changes coming to the Arc Titan is the new Thruster class ability. By double tapping a button while on the ground, the Titan bursts into a throttle direction at speed, performing a quick first-person evade comparable in distance to the Hunter's dodge. Arc is the damage type that is mobility, so if we were going to add mobility boost anywhere for Titans, it was going to be here. Okay, that sounds cool. I quite like that. For the melee attacks, the Titans retain the Seismic Strike shoulder charge, obviously, which blinds enemies. Performing a Seismic Strike while amplified will increase the radius of the blind. This blinding stuff is just going to be left, right, and center. You're not going to be able to get away from it. The Ballistic Slam also returns, where players can slam into the ground after sprinting in the air, creating a damaging explosion upon impact. This is mental. This is mental. Everyone's going to be blinded everywhere. We're all just going to be blinded. Now, like other subclasses, Arc Titan 3.0 will have 3 aspects to select from. The Touch of Thunder improves arc grenades in the following ways. Flashbang fires a additional blind impulse, there's that word again, on its first bounce. Pulse, when the grenade damages an enemy, it creates an ionic trace for the Titan. Pulse grenade damage increases over time as the grenade lingers after impact. This is a lot. The Lightning grants an additional charge for the lightning grenade and jolts targets on initial blast. The Storm creates a roaming thundercloud that moves around and tracks enemies, similar to the Stasis Hunters, Silence and Seek and Squall Super. It's firing lightning bolts at the ground underneath it. Pretty crazy that that's going to impact a lot of different grenades in all different sorts of ways. Pretty well done. Got Juggernaut while sprinting. And with full class ability energy, the Titan gains a frontal shield that blocks incoming damage. When amplified, the shield is stronger. Once the shield is depleted by taking damage, the player's class energy is depleted. That's going to be a bit freaking OP with the general shoulder charge Arc Titans. That's going to be mental. Especially if they are amplified, you're not going to be able to stop them. Then we've got Knockout. Melee kills trigger health regeneration and make the Titan amplified. Critically wounding an enemy or breaking their shield increases the melee range and damage for a brief period. Titan's base melee becomes arc powered while Knockout is active. To complement the class specific aspects, 3.0 for Arc will also introduce a suite of new fragments which offer new perks to build upon, as well as added bonuses or penalties to your Guardian's intrinsic stats. The new fragments that are coming, we've got Spark of Beacons. When the player is amplified, Arc special weapons create a blinding explosion. Why do they just want to blind us all the time? Spark of Resistance. When surrounded by enemies, the player has increased damage resistance. Spark of Momentum. Sliding over ammo will reload your weapon and grant a small amount of melee energy, and sliding over heavy ammo increases the amount of energy gained. Spark of Shock is the player's arc grenade jolts enemy. Now, they finish off that ginormous article with the statement, in all the changes that are coming to 3.0 will give Guardians more ways to bring the pain to the enemies of humanity, while also letting players customize the Guardian into the way that they want to play. Fans will have their first chance to see Arc 3.0 in action during next week's Destiny 2 showcase, which is coming on the 23rd of August and starts at 9 AM Pacific. Check out the showcase reveal page to learn more. This is mental. This is going to absolutely break the game. Arc 3.0 is going to be crazy inside of PvP. And I'm so glad that it's in PvP, because Jesus Christ, could you imagine PvE broken again? But irrelevant to it, this is going to be a blind central inside of PvP. If you're pissed off now, you're going to be pissed off more once this thing drops. But as an overall, a lot of cool changes, a lot of cool things, and I am definitely tempted by the Hunters, just in case you couldn't tell by my non-biased video whatsoever. But yeah, massive round of applause, Bungie. Great job. Arc 3.0 looks absolutely fabulous, and we will be there to watch the whole thing unravel. Thank you so much again for watching, guys. If you haven't already, smash the like button, subscribe, post notifications turned on. Appreciate your faces, and as always, I'll see you in the clouds.